Good morning. I will now call the monthly board meeting of the Washington County Board of Supervisors for May 21st, 2021 to order. And I'd ask Supervisor Clia if you could lead us in prayer, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Dear Father, thank you for the season. It's such a beautiful season. We're seeing smiles, we're hearing laughter. I'm hearing duck, duck, goose outside my window because the kids are outside playing. Students are graduating, farmers are plowing. It feels good. Thank you for getting us here. The essential workers, I've talked to them and they are tired and hopeful. We're making it with your guidance. Please let us mourn the loss of over 600,000 people in the United States alone and know that we're not done yet. So please continue to guide us. In your name, amen. Sorry about the phone, everybody.
Thank you, Supervisor Clary.
Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In case of fire or other emergency, there's 3 exits to the roof this room, there, and there. In case of an emergency, please go to the nearest exit, find the nearest staircase, go down, clear the building, go as far away from the building so that rescue squads and emergency squads can do their job. Please silence your cell phone for this meeting.
Thank you, Supervisor O'Brien. Roll call, please.
Mr. Hankey.
Here.
Mrs. Fedler.
Here. I'm here.
Mr. Ferguson. Mr. Shaw.
Here.
Mr. Hall.
Here.
Mr. Losaw.
Here.
Mr. Hicks.
Here.
Mr. Ward.
Here.
Mr. O'Brien.
Here.
Mr. Half.
Here.
Mr. Campbell.
Here.
Mr. Skelly.
Here.
Mr. Hogan. Mr. Wilson.
Here.
Clary.
Here.
Mr. Griffith.
Here.
Mr. Losell.
Here.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to request a motion to set aside the rules to consider Resolution 101 at this time. Do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to set aside the rules to consider Resolution 101.
Motion made by Supervisor O'Brien. We have a second?
Second.
Second.
Very good. Second by Wilson, Supervisor Wilson, Supervisor Ward, Supervisor Campbell. Okay. Yeah. You want to discuss first? Just call for the vote on it.
No, on the
Oh, and the
motion
resolution.
to set
I
aside.
got you. All right.
Right.
Yeah, all in favor for setting aside the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 101 by Supervisors Campbell, O'Brien, Hicks, Fedler, Skelly, Hogan, Clary, Roselle, Ward, Griffith. Title: Resolution authorizing the issuance of certain obligations by the counties of Warren and Washington Civic Development Corporation to finance a certain not-for-profit project for the Glen at Highland Meadows East.
Do we have a motion?
Aye.
Supervisor Campbell, do we have a second? Supervisor O'Brien. And the other second, Supervisor Wilson, Supervisor Hankey, Supervisor Ward. Is there any, Supervisor Griffith, is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signal by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Okay, we will now have the introduction of a public hearing.
Public hearing concerning introductory local law B of 2021. Notice is hereby given that the Washington County Board of Supervisors will hold a public hearing on May 21st, 2021 at 10:05 a.m. via teleconference to consider the adoption of proposed introductory local law B of 2021 entitled "A Local Law Naming Washington County an Eligible Area Pursuant to Environmental Conservation Law, Section 11-0935 and authorizing participation in the program allowing for certain hunting activities by persons 12 or 13 years of age. Copies of said introductory local law B of 2021 are available on the county website. Further notice is hereby given that comments for the public hearing will be through Zoom video conferencing of the meeting. You must pre-register to provide comments. Anyone wishing to comment, complete the registration form online or contact the clerk of the board's office. Please take further notice that written comments for the public comment portion of the public meeting can also be sent in advance of the meeting to the Board of Supervisors and to the Board of Supervisors email, and to the extent one does not have access to the internet, send comments to the Washington County Board of Supervisors. Dated April 28, 2021.
And do we have this, a motion to move this, resolution?
We got to open the public hearing yet.
I thought I did that, I apologize. It's open to 10:07 a.m. We've opened the public hearing. Do we have a motion? Will we do it on discussion?
I make a motion.
That motion was,
No, we're not, we don't need it.
no. Okay, hold on, we're gonna do, it's a public hearing, we don't need a motion, sorry.
Comments.
Comments? Do we have any comments? I think we have one out there that we need to.
He hasn't joined.
He hasn't joined us yet? Okay. We're gonna wait just a few minutes here because we did have one who had enrolled and apparently hasn't been able to join us yet.
We're waiting, Bob, you want to give us an
No, we
overview of
just
that?
closed the public hearing.
Okay.
We vote on the resolution later.
Gotcha.
Public hearing is, what's the public?
I didn't know if we were waiting, you wanted to just.
I can give you a summary. I can give you a
We have
summary
one.
if you want, Mr. Campbell, while we're waiting. Because the local law doesn't say a whole heck of a lot. It basically authorizes us to participate in DEC's pilot program. And so the pilot program is incorporated by reference into your law, but what it does is provide hunting for people of that age, but it also has several requirements. Mr. Hankey can probably discuss them more than I can, but it's not simply a matter of sending 12-year-olds into the woods with firearms. There are, requirements to have guardians. Guardians have to have a minimum amount of experience in hunting. They must be accompanying the person at all times. They must be under supervision. So while the local law doesn't say a lot, it incorporates by reference that state law, which has quite a few requirements to ensure this program is safe. And my understanding is from publications that I've read that Rensselaer and Saratoga have both considered this and passed it, and that it is going to be fairly popular in the counties, at least surrounding us, if not statewide.
Roger was right on the requirements. It does define accompaniment, which is a good thing. You've got to be, physical proximity to the kid. You've also got to be in blaze orange, and they cannot hunt from tree stands, and they can only hunt deer. They can't hunt deer. Restrictions on it. Which I would hate to point out is exactly what we wanted to do back in 1979, something like that. Got working on lowering the minimum age the first time. So finally got to where we wanted to go, taking 3 steps.
43 years.
That's pretty good. Don't give up on them.
So in
Okay.
essence, this is an
ahead,
opt-in
sorry.
law, so you're choosing to opt in. And what the law says is if you choose to declare the county an eligible area, then the provisions of that law apply as put in by DEC. So that's why your local law simply says we're declaring ourselves an eligible area.
Does it have a sunset date since it's a pilot?
The pilot has a sunset date. And
Okay.
the downstate counties are excluded.
Okay, our invitee has not responded there, so we will go ahead and we will.
John Rosell has hand up.
Oh, John, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I wonder if that has, or Bob, would you know if that includes out-of-state residents?
Yeah, it's not just residents. It's all hunters. Everybody eligible for a hunting license.
The adult has to have a hunting license. So anybody who can obtain that license can accompany the minor.
So a minor from, say, Vermont State could come in and hunt at 12 also.
As long as they're
Yeah.
accompanied by an adult with a proper license.
Hey, I'm going to send you a link real quick.
Yeah, thank you. I
I was waiting for it yesterday, never got a response after I emailed them.
Okay. I'm gonna just text it to you.
Okay,
All right, just send it.
great.
All right.
I'll just log in right now and then,
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right, thanks.
Appreciate it, Jimmy. Thank you.
Thanks, James.
Yeah, he never received the link yesterday, so I just sent him the link.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Longest public hearing ever.
Got it, James. Mr. Harrington, you still there?
Unmute. There he is.
Looks like you're on mute there, Mr. Harrington. If you'd like to unmute, you're welcome. There you go.
There we go.
All right. First, let me apologize for you not getting the Zoom information yesterday. I'm not sure what happened, but we apologize for that. I apologize for that.
No, that's okay. I really appreciate you allowing me to speak, and really thankful for allowing me to join this morning. So thank you.
You can go ahead if you'd like.
Okay, perfect. So I just wanted to read a quick thing that I put together and just kind of make sure our voice is heard from the standpoint of I am the president of the Upper Hudson River Valley National Deer Association. Also a local business owner. My name is Matthew Harrington. I live in Easton, New York, in Greenwich. Father of four, and wanted to just kind of read this as an avid deer hunter, conservationist and resident of Washington County. I'm here to express my interest in the county's opt-in election for the recently passed youth deer hunting pilot program. Recently, Governor Andrew Cuomo signed the budget for the fiscal year 2021-22 into law. Included in this legislation is a deer hunting pilot program that would allow a licensed hunter who is 12 or 13 years old to hunt if certain conditions are met, such as under the supervision of a parent, guardian, or mentor. Currently, New York has the most restrictive hunting age requirements in the country, which is 14. And this initiative would provide a push in the right direction. Most states allow hunters at least 12 years old to hunt big game. And a lot of states are actually no hunting age. So Pennsylvania, Vermont, all have no hunting age. I could take my 5-year-old son, and my cousins have actually done that outside of New York. So really engaging youth in big game hunting at a young age and with appropriate supervision goes a long way in developing lifelong hunters and conservationists. Further, there is no data anywhere to suggest that doing so is unsafe. Last year, participation in hunter safety training courses increased by 175% during COVID. So there was clearly an interest from New Yorkers to go afield hunting, and the state is now looking to expand hunting opportunities in 2021 and beyond to our youth. Senate analysis estimates that these hunting expansion provisions to younger people would provide up to an additional $2 million in annual revenue from increased hunting license fees. Again, as an avid hunter in York County, I urge you to opt in to the Youth Deer Hunting Pilot Program. New York's youth are missing out on hunting opportunities and outdoor experiences that youths in every other state get to experience. So youth hunting opportunities, especially with the appropriate provisions, are safe and enjoyable for all. So thank you for your time, and just wanted to express my viewpoint on this.
Thank you, Matthew. And once again, I apologize for the snake foo on the, we did want you to actually talk. It wasn't an attempt to silence you. So thank you very much.
No problem. No problem. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day, everybody.
Thank you. Is there anyone else out there that's on the line you see? Okay, it is now 10:19, and I will close the public hearing. The condensed minutes from the April 16, 2021 meeting are accepted as mailed unless there are any additions or corrections. Are there any additions or corrections? Seeing or hearing none, we will move on to communications.
For communications, received correspondence from the Whitehall Volunteer Fire Company requesting support of their volunteers and to support the claim for Second Assistant Chief James T. Brooks. Correspondence from a landlord in Hudson Falls stating there is no longer a need for the eviction moratorium and demands property tax relief, a reduction of taxes, and elimination of interest and penalties for unpaid property taxes until this ridiculous ban is lifted. That's all I have for communications.
Very good, thank you. And before we actually get to the COVID-19 update, I would just like to mention that this is National EMS Week, and I'd like to pay a special tribute to those volunteers from EMS out across our county who volunteered to help us with our pods, public health, to make that a real success and to make it an opportunity so anyone who wants to get the shot here in Washington County can get the vaccination. So thank you for all you guys do year-round, for the safety you provide, and your quick responsiveness, and specifically for helping with the pods during this pandemic. Tim, you do the COVID-19 update, please.
Morning, everybody. So I pick the right screen here, and we'll be all set. All right. I am happy to report that things are progressing forward for us. Obviously, we're continuing our daily briefings. Sometimes they come out either late at night or early in the morning, depending on when the statistics come in and the pod activity as of late. So that's certainly been pushing that. We're continuing everything on the website, washingtoncountiny.gov/coronavirus. That is still our central point for information. Active cases by town are continuing. Every Friday, we're publishing that map in addition to vaccine statistics and those kind of things. Public health operations are continuing 7-day-a-week staffing as needed with pod activity and cases. Certainly as cases continue to drop and the pod activity falls off on the weekends, that may change a little bit. And many new state changes since our last meeting, with the state adopting the CDC mask guidance regarding masking and social distancing for vaccinated people. That went into effect this past Wednesday, the 19th. In addition, the county adopted the same guidance for our facilities, other than those exceptions. So any of our staff assigned to healthcare facilities, correctional facilities, those type of things, or schools, all of those are listed on the CDC guidance and on the state website, and the additional state reopening guidance that came out with capacity restrictions being lifted for restaurants, museums, retail, food and beverage, outdoor curfew was lifted. The outdoor gathering was increased to 500, indoor gathering to 250, and the indoor residential gathering limit increased to 50. No subway service here for us, so that doesn't apply. Active statistics as of this morning, we have 149 total people under monitoring of public health currently, 28 active COVID-19 positive cases in the county today, and 3 people still in the hospital. This is the chart that we started back in May of last year that show you by week the persons under monitoring. The red are the COVID-19 positives that were active on that day. So this is not the one that continues to grow. This is the one that shows you the active by that day. Hospitalizations are the green, and the deaths are the purple. And then this is the chart that just shows everything from day one, moving on. Obviously, the red that you see at the top that continues to grow are our positive cases, which at last was up to 2,735. You can see the blue are persons under monitoring. That fluctuates by week. Hospitalizations are the same. They fluctuate by week, and obviously the deaths do not. We're happy to report that we're sitting at 38. We'd be happier to report that we were sitting at 0, but obviously we know that we've lost 38 of our community members and loved ones to COVID-19 since the beginning of this. So our vaccination pods began January 21st of 2021. Another, as the chairman alluded, a great effort from the public health department and the Washington County EMS vaccination team that's led by Cambridge EMS as members of the majority of the rescue squads in the county, in addition to some of the fire and first response agencies. Greenwich Fire First Response has been a huge participant in that. A number of their members are members of the EMS vaccination team. And certainly, I can't say it any more than we have before and KJ has. We could not be doing the vaccination efforts that we're doing without the EMS folks. So they have just been an absolutely huge part in not only the pods, but getting out to the homebound too. So that's been absolutely a wonderful partnership that we've been able to really turn into to something great for the future here. So county public health obviously is the most local option to get vaccinated other than our pharmacies, but there are still other options. The walk-in at the Aviation Mall Clinic, which has been huge in helping us get our numbers up here locally and in Warren County. That's certainly been a great venture. We're glad that the state ended up turning that up, and Mr. Griffith and all his support there. It's been absolutely wonderful. We're continuing our clinics and have developed into some new initiatives that we did, but all those other things are still in effect. Just a special message here from the EMS vaccination team and the county public health team for anybody who hasn't seen it. I'm going to play this real quick.
Hello, I'm Sam Hall, Chairman of the Washington County Board of Supervisors. Today we are located at our pod, our point of distribution in Fort Edward, New York. I would like to give the opportunity for our healthcare professionals and volunteers to discuss with you the importance of getting your COVID-19 vaccination. Thank you.
Are you sick of COVID-19? So are we. We're the public health experts and county leaders who have been working day and night to keep our communities safe and healthy and avoid damaging lockdowns.
Nothing would make us happier than to never see one of these things again.
Medical experts agree that getting as many people vaccinated as is possible is the key to ending this pandemic and getting life back to normal.
We understand that you may have concerns about the vaccine, and that's okay.
You deserve the facts. You deserve to have the facts to make your own decision. So here are the facts.
At 95% efficacy, the vaccine is very effective at protecting you from the virus.
Almost all doctors who have been offered the vaccine have taken it.
Every phase of every trial is carefully reviewed and approved by a safety board and the FDA.
The likelihood of experiencing a severe side effect is less than half of 1%. Most side effects go away in 2 days.
Most importantly, by getting vaccinated, you not only protect yourself, but you protect your family.
We understand that you are tired of the mask, tired of the rules, tired of not being able to do the things you love.
We're tired too.
We all want to get to the day we can get rid of these things and get back to the ones we love. That day is coming, but only if we do what needs to be done today to help keep ourselves, our families, and our communities safe and healthy.
To learn more about the COVID-19 vaccine or to schedule an appointment, visit www.vaccines.gov.
All right. So moving on, and thanks to all the members that really put that together. That was a joint effort with NISAC and NISHO that worked on that program. We did one here locally and then submitted that to the state that they're going to submit and put one out, parts and pieces of each counties. But it was important for us. Public Health set out the initiative from day one with vaccination, that we have every eligible member that wants to be vaccinated in the county can be vaccinated. And certainly we're getting closer to that with local options. Like we're talking about today, our COVID-19 vaccine community pop-up clinics that we've worked with the majority of the towns and villages, certainly anywhere with a school, to make sure that we bring those as close to the school as possible, with the new changes bringing the age 12 to 15 eligible for the Pfizer. We wanted to make sure that schools had the opportunity to get their students in as well. In addition to the public that didn't want to either come to Fort Edward, couldn't make it to Queensbury, couldn't make it to another site or a pharmacy. So I'd like to report, I mean, really, they have been successful. We started in Hampton on the 12th with 14 being administered there, moved to Whitehall with 37, went to Greenwich and had a big night in Greenwich of 87 there, went back to the Burgoyne Avenue campus for a Saturday and had 94. And these are all first doses. Then went to, there was a Whitehall Spring Fling event at their Chamber of Commerce last weekend with 13 there, and moved on to back to Burgoyne with 55. That was a joint effort with Hudson Falls and Fort Edward schools. Cambridge had a big event the other night, 96 total there. And yesterday in Grable, we did another 90. So between public health and EMS vaccination team, I mean, this certainly would not be possible to bring these to all of our communities. And obviously we're going to continue going with this. We have a J&J pop-up tomorrow at the Burgoyne Avenue campus. Walk-ins are welcome for all of these. We certainly encourage anybody who's looking for vaccination to call ahead to make sure that we have the vaccine available that they are looking for. But certainly walk-ins are welcome. If we have the vaccine on hand, we will absolutely continue to do that. This week, we will be at the Hartford Volunteer Fire Company with Pfizer and J&J on the 25th. That's from noon to 2. At the Argyle Fire Department in the afternoon of that day from 3 to 7. And that's again, Pfizer and J&J. That'll be a coordinated effort with the schools. We'll be doing the Putnam Fire Department on the 27th in the morning, Moderna and J&J. Fort Ann Fire Department in a coordinated effort with the Fort Ann School. We'll be in the afternoon, 3 to 7 on the 27th, again, Pfizer and J&J. And then we're headed to Salem at the Georgie on the 2nd from noon to 2:30, Moderna and J&J, and then finish up in the afternoon there in coordinated effort with the school there, 3 to 7, and that will be Pfizer and J&J. So certainly we've got a lot of things going on vaccination wise. We've moved from the central point of contact to trying to get out to as many of these communities as possible and hit anybody who's looking for the vaccine, wants it close. In addition, we're continuing those homebound. They did another 9 homebound yesterday. So those are kind of trickling in now. We've got the majority of them done, but we are still getting some calls and some submissions for the vaccine interest registry for any of that. So if you're hearing anything in your community, please reach out and let us know and we will get them on there. To date, our EMS and public health team have done 6,714 shots. And then obviously you can see the breakdown there. And just a note, one of the questions that we're frequently getting are the breakthrough COVID-19 statistics. So those cases that are arising where someone turns positive after they've been fully vaccinated. As of this morning, our current breakthrough cases, 11 have received the Pfizer vaccine, 3 have received the J&J or the Janssen vaccine, and 1 has received the Moderna. So our public health folks are continuing to track that as they do their investigations of these new cases. Our vaccine progress by county. So this was statistics as of this morning. 24,431 people in the county have got their completed series, with 28,870 with at least 1 dose. So we are making progress. Obviously, these pod events, be a pop-up or be one of the ones that we're hosting at Burgoyne, they took a lot of people to run these. The EMS vaccination team and public health certainly are a huge part of that. We couldn't do it without them. But buildings and grounds, public works, our social services and other support staff, the county attorney and the safety officer, sheriff's office, and our Serve New York volunteers are just absolutely crucial for us to be able to continue to do these and get the vaccine out. The one other thing I wanted to mention as far as vaccination efforts, yesterday we kicked off the second dose of the agricultural effort. That was the coordinated effort with the farm workers. And Woody Hill Farm hosted that yesterday. They were a key partner in getting a lot of these farms together and the farm workers together for us to be able to get in there and get these folks vaccinated. So another 98 folks were vaccinated there yesterday at Woody Hill. 96 were second doses and 2 were first doses. So certainly we're moving into that second phase of our farm worker pods. So that's another huge benefit to us, a population that was very difficult to get to or very difficult for them to get to us. So that's been huge for us. Cambridge EMS continues the only local COVID-19 testing site where you can be rapid tested on site in the county same day. So they still have that. Information is available on the website for that. The other testing options for anybody in our communities who are looking for it, the Warren County test site is still operational and doing testing. Our CVS pharmacies, if you check online, you have to make your appointment. You can drive in, you test yourself, you put the kit back in. The healthcare providers at Hudson Headwaters, Monroe, Broad Street, West Mountain, and Warrensburg health sites, and the SUNY Albany test site. And certainly, I don't know if you've seen it in any of your local pharmacies to date, but there is a COVID-19 Binax Now test that's coming out that you can purchase over the counter. I haven't seen it here locally yet, but I know it is coming out. So the last thing, vaccination's only one step. We ask everybody to keep doing your part. The biggest thing that they're continuing to see at public health with cases is people who go to work or go to an event not feeling well and turn positive a day or 2 later, certainly subjecting other people. So certainly if you're not feeling well, please stay home. Just be mindful of your activities, gather in a healthy and safe way. The new guidelines certainly have much healthier and safer ways for us to be able to gather, mask or unmask, depending on your vaccination status. Wash your hands often and mask up if you're unvaccinated. Or certainly if you're uncomfortable, we encourage anybody who's more comfortable wearing a mask, to please go ahead and continue wearing a mask. And that's all I have.
Any questions to Tim?
Yeah, I got one, Tim.
Brian?
Tim, on the breakthrough cases, 11, 3, and 1, is that about the same ratio of which vaccines were used too? Because I'm sure J&J has been used the least so far and Pfizer probably the most. Would that be in line, or is one significantly better than the other, or do they really know that yet?
Yeah, I don't think anybody really knows that yet. I mean, locally, Moderna has been the biggest one used for us. But Pfizer obviously was the first one that was out there for quite some time before that a lot of the healthcare providers had. So I know it's still being tracked and they're still trying to identify the trends on that. We're keeping track of our local trend. Other than that, I can't confirm anything. I know it is being tracked and looked at. I just haven't heard anything substantial to be able to say yes or no.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? Okay, then we'll move on to, thank you, Tim. We'll move on to the committee reports. Audit report, Supervisor Losaw.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to accept the auditing report.
We have a motion to accept the audit report. Do we have a second? Supervisor O'Brien, Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Henke, Supervisor Griffith. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Mortgage tax, Supervisor Campbell.
So moved.
So the acceptance of the 2021 mortgage tax warrant, motion is moved to accept by Supervisor Campbell. Do we have a second? Supervisor O'Brien, Supervisor Henke, Supervisor Shaw, Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Ward, Supervisor Griffith. Is there any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hands up too, okay, and opposed? And it's carried. Proclamations. We've done two proclamations. Proclamation for May of both of these is for the Older Americans Month and the Mental Health Month. And we thank both of our agencies here, Public Health and the Office for the Aging, for their support of our mental health initiatives and our senior citizen initiatives, and to all of those that utilize those benefits out there. Supervisor's privilege of the floor. Supervisor Henke?
Yeah, I'd like to extend privilege of the floor to Evelyn Costano. Evelyn is an Argyle resident, and she's president of the Costano Lake Improvement Association. I have advised her that she has 5 minutes to go over.
Very good.
Good morning, everybody. My name is... Nice to be here. I am president of the Costano Lake Improvement Association, and I hope you'll forgive me by reading this, but I feel like I could get my thoughts clear if I could just go ahead and read it. So indulge me. Thank you so much. I'm the president of the Costano Lake Improvement Association and a full-time resident in Argyle on Costano Lake, along with my husband and 2 sons. I truly appreciate the opportunity to speak to you all this morning. Thank you, Mr. Henke, for allowing me this time. I hope you all, don't want that I'm reading this. So I'm here today to speak on behalf of the residents of Costano Lake. The burden of funding our beautiful public lake is becoming unsustainable for our residents. I know this past year has been a difficult year for all of us. We were especially hit hard with this COVID pandemic because we were unable to fundraise the way we always have. The restrictions left us unable to congregate, work together. Therefore, our ability to raise the funds we need to adequately treat our lake was negatively impacted. Each year, we are finding an influx of visitors, boaters, fishermen, fisherwomen, jet skiers, water skiers, ice fishermen, and fisherwomen. The lake is getting busier and busier every year. The increased boat traffic from transient boats inadvertently carrying an assortment of invasive species like Eurasian milfoil, curly leaf pondweed contribute to our need for treatment in a big way. The CLIA Lake Management Program, in coordination with the DEC, oversees a combination of harvesting of invasive weeds and targeted herbicide chemical treatments that kill specific invasive species. This program is fully funded by the residents. The funding for last year alone for the targeted herbicide treatment was $36,854. We did not raise even half. This is becoming a reoccurring pattern for us as we are having to eat into the funds we will need to replace our 10-year-old harvester at some point. We are lucky to have a wonderful team of volunteers that maintain our equipment, but the harvester works hard and only has so much life. We again this season are behind in our amount needed to treat the lake. Costano Lake has become a recreation destination for the county. People come from all over the county, state, and even Vermont. I had the pleasure of sitting at the public boat launch from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. last Saturday. I wanted to get a feel from where our visitors came. First of all, we have the nicest fishermen, fisherwomen in New York. Everybody was happy to talk to me. And they came from Fort Edward, Salem, Granville, Hudson Falls, Argyle, and as far as Averill Park, Albany, Arlington, Vermont, to name a few. The bulk were from Washington County. I asked them why they chose Costano. They said it was great fishing, a beautiful lake, but most importantly, free. I also created a poll on Facebook and asked our visitors to tell us where they visited from. Out of the 154 people that participated, 62 were from Washington County, 16 from Saratoga County, 4 from Warren County, 5 from Vermont, and 67 from other New York State counties. We rely on and are grateful for the continued support of the towns of Argyle and Greenwich. Argyle contributes $73.50 and Greenwich $4,500 to support harvesting. Each lakefront owner pays for their own lakefront harvesting, so the program is basically self-sufficient and the town's money goes towards harvesting open waters. The county did contribute $10,000 many years ago for our first harvester. We were blessed with a grant from the state in 2014 for a harvester, which is a 2011 model, and it is our 7th season with it. I would also like to point out in the Costano Watershed Management Review from 2000 to 2016, which was prepared by the Lake Champlain Lake George Regional Planning Board, on page 20, there is a recommendation for funding for the reduction of nutrient loading and erosion. Source of funding to come from landowners, towns, county, New York State DEC, and DOS. We need your help. We are more than happy to do our fair share to raise funds. We simply need the county's financial support. As a 501(c), we genuinely enjoy the camaraderie of fundraising and supporting our beautiful lake. Our board is proactive, committed, passionate, and hardworking. We're not asking for a handout. We are asking for help, a partnership. We are hoping to procure $20,000 a year for 5 years. This would afford us the opportunity to properly treat the lake, to safer repairs, expenses, and replacement of our future harvester, conveyor, and dump truck. As noted in our 2019 CSLAP, which is a Citizen Statewide Lake Assessment Program, water clarity has increased significantly thanks to our lake management team's proactive work ethic. In 2016, Costano was taken off the state watch list. Please help us continue that momentum. We have become a recreation destination for the county, and we graciously ask for your financial support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Evelyn. Okay.
Have a wonderful.
Go ahead, Evelyn. I'm sorry.
I was saying have a wonderful day, everybody.
You as well. Thank you very much. Okay. Do we have any other privilege of the floor? Seeing none, we'll move on to the consideration of the resolutions.
Resolution number 97 by Supervisors Henke and Griffiths, titled to adopt introductory local law B of 2021.
Moving resolution 97.
Moved by Supervisor Henke. Do we have seconds? Supervisor Griffiths, Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Ward, Supervisor Campbell, Supervisor Skelly, Supervisor Rozell, Supervisor Clary. Are there any other seconds? Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Roll call.
This is roll call. Sorry.
Mr. Henke?
Yes.
Mrs. Fedler?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson? Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Losaw?
Yes.
Mr. Hicks?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Haff?
Yes.
Campbell?
Yes.
Mr. Skelly?
Yes.
Hogan is absent. Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Clary?
Yes.
Mr. Griffith?
Yes.
Mr. Rozell?
Yes.
Resolution is adopted, 3,432 yes, 828 absent. Resolution number 98 by Supervisors Skelly, Rozell, Haff, Hicks, Fedler, Shaw, Ferguson, Wilson, titled to award RFB 2021-15 pavement markings, Department of Public Works.
Mr. Chairman, moving resolution number 98.
Moved by Supervisor Skelly. Seconds, please.
Seconds.
Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Rozell, Supervisor Wilson, Supervisor Shaw, Supervisor Henke, Supervisor Campbell. Any that I missed? Any discussion? All in favor, saying aye. Aye.
Dana is
down there,
discussion.
Is that a question, Dana? Supervisor Haff?
Yes, Sam. And looking at this, the
center line cost $62.95. In many places are two lines next to each other, yellow. But the edge line is $1 cheaper, but is that both north and southbound edge lines or just one side of the road? So that's actually double the cost of a center line. Is it per lane mile or the whole road mile?
Do we know, Supervisor Skelly?
I don't know the answer to that. I would assume, Dana, that, and I could be wrong, that that's both white lines, and that's why the price is very close to like twin lines in the center. I don't know. I don't think Deb is on, so.
Okay, because I know a lot of it is determined upon color, and I don't know if yellow is a heck of a lot cheaper than white. But that, I'm sorry I didn't ask this before in committee, but I didn't realize it until I just read it right now. Usually we talk about lane miles, and in this case, it's, double the cost, really.
And it's just application, it's not the paint, right? It's just, it says application without material.
Right.
So I think it's just the application of it.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Thank you. That's why you were the valedictorian, Brian. Of Hartford.
Thanks for pointing that out, Supervisor.
Of Hartford, no doubt.
Yes.
I feel better now.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 99 by Supervisor Skelly, Roselle, Half, Hicks, Sedler, Shaw, Ferguson, Wilson, titled to award RFP 2021-17 equipment rentals, Department of Public Works.
Moving resolution number 99.
Moved by Supervisor Skelly. Do we have a second? Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Shaw, Supervisor Wilson, Supervisor Roselle. Did I miss anyone? Any discussion? All in favor, say by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 100 by Supervisors Hicks, Ward, Campbell, O'Brien, Shelley, Clary, Griffith, title amend DPW staffing patterns for the summer construction season.
Mr. Chairman, moving resolution 100.
Moved by Supervisor Hicks. Do we have a second? Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Campbell, Supervisor O'Brien, Supervisor Roselle, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Losaw, Supervisor Henke, Supervisor Ward, and Supervisor Skelly, Supervisor Griffith. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 102 by Supervisors Campbell, O'Brien, Hicks, Sedler, Skelly, Hogan, Clary, Roselle, Ward, Griffith, title to refund taxes, Town of Fort Edward.
Moving resolution 102.
Moved by Supervisor Campbell. Do we have a second? Supervisor Griffith, Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Ward, Supervisor Henke, Supervisor O'Brien. Is there any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 103 by Supervisors Campbell, O'Brien, Hicks, Sedler, Skelly, Hogan, Clary, Roselle, Ward, Griffith, title to amend 2020 budget for various departments.
Moving resolution 103.
Moved by Supervisor Campbell. Do we have a second? Supervisor Henke, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Roselle, Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Ward. Any discussion? Supervisor Griffith, you were a second? I'm sorry. Supervisor Griffith was a second. I missed him. Any discussion? Yes, Supervisor Shaw.
Yeah, just so I understand it, when you're increasing appropriations, that's because that line was short, and so this motion is to increase it to basically cover that expense.
Everything to zero out, yeah.
Well, I was just curious, and it might be a simple explanation. Employee benefits, hospital, medical insurance, how did we miss that by over $500,000, or is that just a normal thing that you never know?
I'll address that.
It looked like such a big number for a budget number. I think it's the first one, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, that was all, and it's probably a simple explanation, but it just seemed high.
The water.
What were the parts that we did?
Be like 6 and 2.
My memory, Mr. Shaw, is that it had to do with how I spread the fringe across the different departments. If you remember correctly, when the budget was passed, it was passed in one line. And we went back to the net cost approach, and I had to spread it across the county. So it made a difference in that one line, but countywide, the total didn't change.
Okay, thank you. That explains it.
Any further discussion? All in favor, signal by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 104 by Supervisors Campbell, O'Brien, Hicks, Feather, Skelly, Hogan, Clary, Roselle, Ward, Griffith, titled Proposed Capital Project Number 122, ACC and STEM Capital Project.
Moving resolution 104.
Moved by Supervisor Campbell. Second, please. Supervisor Ward, Supervisor Griffith, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Henke. I don't believe I missed anyone. Is there any discussion? All in favor, signal by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 105 by Supervisors Campbell, O'Brien, Hicks, Feather, Skelly, Hogan, Clary, Roselle, Ward, Griffith, title Amend Budget, Capital Project number 125, Capital Improvement Plan for Barn Consolidation Engineering Study.
Moving resolution number 105.
Moved by Supervisor Campbell. Do you have a second? Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Griffith, Supervisor Roselle, Supervisor Henke, Supervisor O'Brien, and Supervisor Ward. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 106 by Supervisors Campbell, O'Brien, Hicks, Feather, Skelly, Hogan, Clary, Roselle, Ward, Griffith, title Amend 2021 DSS OFA Budget for Consolidated Appropriations Act.
Moving resolution number 106.
Moved by Supervisor Campbell. Seconds, please. Supervisor Roselle, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Griffith, Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Henke, Supervisor O'Brien. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 107 by Supervisors Campbell, O'Brien, Hicks, Feather, Skelly, Hogan, Clary, Roselle, Ward, Griffith, title Amend 2021 Budget to carry over unspent COVID-19 grants.
Moving resolution number 107.
Moved by Supervisor Campbell. Seconds, please. Supervisor Griffith, Supervisor Roselle, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Henke, Supervisor Ward. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, signal by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 108 by Supervisors Campbell, O'Brien, Hicks, Feather, Skelly, Hogan, Clary, Roselle, Ward, Griffith, title Amend 2021 Budget for Criminal Justice Discovery Reform Funding.
Moving resolution number 108.
Moved by Supervisor Campbell. Second, please. Supervisor Ward, Supervisor O'Brien, Supervisor Henke, Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Griffith. Is there any discussion? All in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 109 by Supervisors Campbell, O'Brien, Hicks, Feather, Skelly, Hogan, Clary, Roselle, Ward, Griffith, titled Standard Workday and Reporting Resolution.
Moving resolution number 109.
Moved by Supervisor Campbell. Do we have a second? Supervisor Roselle, Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Henke, Supervisor O'Brien, Supervisor Ward, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Griffith. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll go to roll call, please.
Mr. Henke. Yes. Mrs. Fedler.
Yes.
Mr. Shaw.
Yes.
Mr. Hall.
Yes.
Mr. Losell.
Yes.
Mr. Hicks. Mr. Ward.
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Mr. Hack.
Yes.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Skelly.
Yes.
Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
Larry.
Yes.
Mr. Griffith.
Yes.
Mr. Odell.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted, 3,432 yes, 828 absent. Resolution number 110 by Supervisors Campbell, O'Brien, Hicks, Feather, Skelly, Hogan, Clary, Rozell, Ward, Griffith, titled Supplemental Mortgage Tax Disbursement.
Moving resolution number 110.
Moved by Supervisor Campbell, second please. Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Rozell, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Henke, Supervisor Ward, Supervisor O'Brien, Supervisor Griffith. Is there any discussion? All in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 111 by Supervisors Campbell, O'Brien, Hicks, Feather, Skelly, Hogan, Clary, Rozell, Ward, Griffith, titled to accept FY19 Cybersecurity Grant Program Award and amend budget.
Moving resolution number 111.
Moved by Supervisor Campbell, seconded by Supervisor Henke, Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor O'Brien, Supervisor Ward, Supervisor Griffith, Supervisor Clary. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 112 by Supervisors Campbell, O'Brien, Hicks, Feather, Skelly, Hogan, Clary, Rozell, Ward, Griffith, titled to amend planning budget for septic system replacement grant and amend duties of the county auditor and deputy county auditor.
Moving resolution number 112.
Moved by Supervisor Campbell, seconded by Supervisor Griffith, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Henke, Supervisor Ward, Supervisor O'Brien. Is there any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 113 by Supervisors Campbell, O'Brien, Hicks, Feather, Skelly, Hogan, Clary, Rozell, Ward, Griffith, titled to create capital project number 129, American Rescue Plan Act.
Moving resolution 113.
Moved by Supervisor Campbell, second. Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Griffith, Supervisor Henke, Supervisor Ward. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 114 by Supervisors Hicks, Ward, Campbell, O'Brien, Skelly, Clary, Griffith, title amend staffing pattern, jail.
Chairman, moving resolution 114.
Moved by Supervisor Hicks. Do we have second? Supervisor Ward, Supervisor O'Brien, Supervisor Henke, Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Griffith, Supervisor Campbell. Do we have any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 115 by Supervisors Campbell, O'Brien, Hicks, Feather, Skelly, Hogan, Clary, Rozell, Ward, Griffith, title amend 2021 tourism budget.
Moving resolution number 115.
Moved by Supervisor Campbell. Second. Supervisor Griffith, Supervisor Clary, Supervisor Fedler, Supervisor Henke, Supervisor Ward, Supervisor Shaw, Supervisor Rozell. Any discussion? Supervisor Haft.
Chairman Hall, is fishing on Costano considered tourism if you come from Averill Park?
I can't answer that question, but I would assume if they're coming in from another county to do that, it would be considered tourism. But I'll tell you, Laura will be coming up a little bit later on. We can have her answer that question.
Well, I'm wondering, the association was looking for some funding, and I'm wondering if that would be maybe something they might consider from the tourism budget.
Yep. Good suggestion, Supervisor Haft.
I probably would vote no when the final answer comes through, but it's a question. I wonder if anybody ever. But I'm wondering
you had a hook, line, and sinker.
But I'm wondering if anybody ever thought of that, because, you know, fishing can be tourism. If you go to Martha's Vineyard and you go fishing at deep sea,
sure,
that's certainly tourism.
Sure.
Can be a cybersecurity problem too.
Okay. Is there any Supervisor Rozell?
Speaking of tourism, has anybody heard anything on when the borders will be opened up between New York and Canada.
And Canada? No, not as we speak. Nothing has moved out that I'm aware of. James?
That is,
John,
that
I
is a
heard,
big,
John, I heard it depends on who wins in the next round of the hockey playoffs.
that's a big,
Right.
the Canadians are big tourism coming down through the lake for Whitehall. I just wondered if there's anything we could say or do to speed it up.
Yeah, we certainly can reach out to our Congresswoman and see. I know she's been working on it. Well, I can get a status on it. Glad to do that, John. Get back to you, okay? Very good. So let's see. We had this. Any more discussion? All in favor, say saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. And that moves us on to the Supervisors Comments, but at this point in time, Laura Oswald has an announcement that she would like to join us for, and maybe at the same time, Laura, you can answer that question the Supervisor Half had.
Sure, let me answer the question first. So Dana, one of the limitations that we face, we are extremely prescribed by I Love New York rules in terms of how we can spend that money. That doesn't mean that some of the non-match funding couldn't be used, but I will also point out I have previously worked with the Costano Lake Association to try and find alternate funding sources for them. So, you know, we're aware that they're a draw to the county. The tourism budget has limited ways that it could help in terms of the particular needs they were stating today, but agreed that there are potentially other sources of funding that they could be looking to.
Sam, can I ask a follow-up?
You sure can.
Laura, I know the focus was a little bit about fishing, but boating is an even larger tourism activity. And, you know, these are probably people that are going to be fishing from boats, not necessarily the shoreline, because it's all private ownership on the shoreline. So I know you've looked at it. Maybe we can look at it again.
Absolutely. So the reason that I'm here this morning is basically to make just a very quick announcement. As you know, if you've been following through the Ag Tourism Committee, we have been working on developing a survey process that will identify served and underserved areas and unserved areas of broadband. The program and the site is ready for launch. I intend to go into more detail on Tuesday, but because all of the press releases and the social media will start appearing by this weekend, I wanted the board to be aware of what's going on. I will email everybody copies of the press release today. For anybody who's in the building, there are some copies upstairs in the board offices. But essentially, the website will launch on Monday. The website address is www.washingtoncountybroadband.com. And again, I will send out press releases to everybody with all of this information. But because it's going to be out there, likely starting this weekend, I just wanted you to be aware we're starting. We're anticipating that it will be up for 10 weeks or so. And hopefully by the end of it, we will have some very useful information. Any questions?
Any questions of Laura? Thank you, Laura. We appreciate that. Supervisors Comments. Do we have any Supervisors Comments? Supervisor Hanke.
Just a couple of things. Number one, I would really like it if when we all stand for the pledge with these Zoom things, if you stand over the side of your computer, so our gallery isn't a sea of crosses when we're doing the Pledge of Allegiance. It doesn't look very great. Number two, I wanted to sadly announce that it appears Argyle is not going to have a Memorial Day parade this year. Several reasons. You can't get any bands, you can't do, still trying hard to have the 4th of July parade, but the big problem is none of the bands have been able to practice, and we haven't been able to get a single band to agree to come to a parade. So what happens? I would like to say that they are going to do a tractor parade in Hudson Falls on Memorial Day, and I'd like you all to support that. I want to mention the people standing outside this morning. I had an occasion to have to sit down in the Auction Barn restaurant and watch my daughter graduate with her master's degree in Plattsburgh on the cell phone because nobody impressed with her accomplishments, because she was adult children, and she's working full-time, and she still went ahead and got her master's degree. So it was a pretty good accomplishment. I would like to have been there. And these people outside, the father holding a flag and the mother holding a piece of flowers, because their daughter is becoming a citizen this morning. I want to make sure they couldn't go in and watch her take her oath, but they at least could support her when she came out. Hope we get everybody vaccinated, because, you know, missing an awful lot of stuff. And finally, I wanted to do a shout out and thanks to our federal representatives for making the stimulus guidance so simple, intuitive, and easy to understand. It's only 181 pages. And I really appreciated them, you know, taking care of us in that manner.
And it's still clear as mud.
Thank you, Bob. Any other comments? I just have a comment, and I would like to put a thank you to all you supervisors who, within your town, that we've been able to establish these pop-up clinics to compliment on how well that the organizations that are helping us with it, your EMS, your firefighters, your schools, all the other organizations that have participated have readily joined in. I think a lot of that's because of your leadership within your respective towns and the organizations that you've been able to reach out to for us. So it gives us a place that we can go. We can do these pop-up clinics and finish the mission here that we need to do with this pandemic. So thank you very much for any effort you may have put into that. Are there any other comments? Supervisor Half.
Thank you, Sam. I just want to mention that Hartford is having our Memorial Day parade on Monday, which is Memorial Day at 6 p.m. So if you want to see a parade, please come to Hartford. It's a very nice parade. Also, I have a question maybe for Roger about procedures of the board and committees. I understand the recent personnel committee, they discussed changes to the employee handbook, and the chairman, Matt Hicks, thought that because these were amendments, not changes, it didn't have to come before the full board. But I think, in my opinion, an amendment is a change. When we amend our local laws in the towns, we have to do the full-fledged, public hearing. And even if you fix a typo, a comma instead of a period, you still have to have a public hearing to amend a local law. So I don't know why, if it's in the employee handbook, why an amendment is not considered a change. But Roger, is it true that amendments to the handbook does not have to come before the full board of supervisors? I remember when we voted on changes to the handbook.
I believe when we promulgated the last issue of the handbook, we also provided that it could be amended by virtue of giving notice to the entire board of the proposed amendment, and that it would be heard by the personnel committee. And if there was no objection to take it to the full board, the personnel committee could approve it. So the personnel committee was allowed to do that on notice to the full board of the proposed changes.
Well, I don't like the proposed changes. And you said proposed changes, so they haven't been done yet?
No, they've been done, because the place that when the handbook was promulgated by resolution, that resolution also delegated to the personnel committee the ability to make changes subject to notice being given to every board member to come in if they didn't like that change and discuss it.
Okay, I don't think it's too late to put the toothpaste back into the tube, because this is the new marijuana law, 128 pages. I'm about halfway through it. And when I read the changes to the handbook, I see a lot of areas where a one-year attorney could sue the hell out of us. And where can I bring this again? At the next government ops meeting?
Well, the personnel committee is the one that has the jurisdiction over the handbook, or you can bring forth a resolution on your own.
Well, the personnel committee forwarded something to government ops. I think they're going to talk about tobacco use.
Yeah, I think non-smoking campus, from what I understand. Or we could rescind, the board could rescind that authority that was given to the personnel committee and assume for itself the ability to review and make changes to the handbook.
Okay, I don't want to waste everyone's time here, but maybe I'll bring it back to committee, but I don't think just using the word cannabis is sufficient. There's all kinds of cannabis. You have adult use cannabis, which I think you're talking about. You have medical use cannabis, which according to the state law, if you want to look up, section 40, medical cannabis shall not be deemed a drug for the purposes of Article 137 of the education law. So also hemp. You can have people out smoking hemp flower, which has even an employee, maybe for back pain. According to our handbook, you can't do that. So I think this, excuse me, my dog just saw the neighbor's cat. So I think this needs to come back. I think it needs a lot more discussion and maybe some wordsmithing. I have some suggestions, but you know, when you get into medical cannabis, you don't want to violate people's, you know, civil rights. It's not a drug. But I've already said too much here. I'll bring it back to committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Happ. Any other supervisor comments? Treasurer Nola, you've been quiet today. Do you have anything you wanted to add?
No, you usually like it when I'm quiet. I will let the board know, though, that I have successfully requested our stimulus money after 15,000 hoops and my firstborn grandchild. So we're on our way.
Very good.
Good, got it yet?
Thank you, Al. Any other further comments? If not, then we'll stand adjourned. Thank you and be safe out there.